Suppose that y equals 5x plus 2, and it is required that y be within 0.006 units of 8. So for what values of x will this be true? So let's take a look at the question here. So here's the question. Now again, it says y be within 0.006 units of 8. Now, first and foremost, we need to take a look at the first part of the problem. And so according to the problem statement, the distance is within 0.006 units. So it is less than 0.006. So the statement that's given here is going to indicate that the distance between y and 8 is less than 0.006. So here is the formula. We have the absolute value of y minus 8, and that's going to be less than 0.006. Now for step 2, we can see up here that y is equal to 5x plus 2. And we're trying to find out what values of x will this be true. So now, in step number 2, we're going to replace y to be what it equals, which is 5x plus 2. And then we're going to subtract the 8. And then that's going to be less than 0.006. So now let's simplify what's inside the absolute value. So we have the absolute value of 5x. Well, 2 minus 8 is minus 6. And therefore, that's going to be less than 0.006. Now let's take a look at the definition. Now the definition of the absolute value of an expression when it's less than a constant is the following. We would say that the negative constant is going to be less than the expression, which is less than the positive constant. So now we're going to rewrite this statement. So we're going to use the constant of 0.006. So it's negative 0.006, which is less than 5x minus 6, which is less than positive 0.006. Now we're going to add 6 to both sides. Okay, now keep in mind that we got to add these zeros as placement holders. So we really got to be careful with our math here. So for step number 5, okay, we're going to take, keep in mind here, we have 6.000, and that's minus 0.006. And that gives us 5.994. So we have 5.994, and that's less than 5x, and we know that that gives us 0, which is going to be less than 6.000 plus 0.006 is 6.006. Okay, and now we need to divide everything by 5. So we're going to divide everything by 5. And so let's see what happens when we divide everything by 5. So we take 5.994, we're going to divide that by 5. So that gives us 1.1988, which is less than 5 divided by 5, which is x, which is less than, now we're going to take 6.006 and divide that by 5, and that gives us 1.2012. So again, it's asking us for what values of x will this be true. Now remember that when you graph this, the graph is going to look like the following. We have 1.1988, and then we have 1.2012. So we have a bracket here and a bracket there. Actually, we don't have a bracket, we have parentheses, because we're not including those points because it's less than. So that means we have parenthesis here and parenthesis there. So therefore, we have parenthesis 1.1988, comma 1.2012. Let's go ahead and write our answer. Okay, so it's going to be true for all values of x that are in the interval, not for finite. Okay, so we're going to make sure that it says all values, because that means that you're including all the values that are in this interval. So we have 1.1988, so parenthesis 1.1988, comma, and then the next number is 1.2012. So 1.2012 with a parenthesis, and let's check our answer, and there is our result.